one. What? I thought it was a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's for Slate. No, Slate. There you go. Okay, I'm the drummer, Joshua Williams.
God damn it!
Wait, is that good or what?
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hi.
I hope you include all of this. This should all be included off the bat. No, this is perfect.
Here's one of our songs that we think is pretty interesting. If you start to break down some of the elements that are inside of it.
What parts do you think are interesting?
We're already asking questions? Oh my goodness. I think the most interesting part for me is what it became versus what it was as an idea originally. Sometimes I don't think ideas actually turn into something further, and this one happened really quick. So that was the interesting part.
It started off as a jam, actually. I was just playing one note on a keyboard or something. And so Josh subconsciously, maybe consciously, I kind of wrote the song because he just drummed to a noise I was making, and then I built the song around what he did. So the entire arrangement is actually really, really dictated. This song wouldn't exist if he didn't do what he did.
Uh-oh. Well, I like to play grooves. No, I don't know. I think it was just like kind of one of those days where I feel like we played like was that the same day that we played like 2 or 3 songs or something, and we tried to just like record things very directly with the click and all that good stuff. But
I do not remember.
I'm pretty sure it was. But I guess at the end of that,
I on a roll.
Well, kinda, and I was more of like, oh, I feel like if I have to play something so coordinated, I feel like it's just freeing to not.
It's probably like the opposite of a roll then, right? You were like, we were in a ditch. We weren't rolling. So.
kind of, because wasn't it a miracle that got captured? Oh, sorry.
No, that was
energy out of like being so like being so structured. You need to work the energy out and be like.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 100%. That's definitely exactly what it was.
Having said all that, we can start off by hearing some of the drumming. Okay, so does that bring back any memories?
What?
Did it erase some of your memories?
Damn, dog. I feel like I went through a whole journey when we went away there for a second. No. Yeah, so basically it kind of started because I wanted to let go of some energy, right? Let go of some steam from, like, I guess, more stressful drumming, I feel like, especially, your mind, you're like, oh, I'm being recorded, so like I gotta, like, not suck, hopefully. That's the main component, I think, is to just not suck and then capture that and then simultaneously try to feel every note you're trying to play and not also thinking. So you're just in the music or something?
It's kind of interesting because now that I'm actually really thinking about it, I do remember that jam, and I remember not thinking anything would ever come out of that.
Yeah.
Because I was just like playing, I think, one chord and messing with effects or something. Like, I just had it just repeating infinitely, I think. it was kind of like how the song, like we just saved it as Drone. It was like why it had that name. But because of that, I think later on I listened to it. I was like, hey, this drumming is actually pretty good. So then I think I wrote the lyrics around being a drone, like in society. So it's actually how the track even got its name.
What is a drone in society?
All of us. If you're not the queen, you're the drone, right?
Because one thing I want to say is that I remember when I was trying to play through the groove the first time, right? Before we kind of like really tried to do something. Like I played like 3 times or something. I was like, hey, does this sound good? Does that sound good? There's a few times I like ran through a groove, I think before we actually like kind of started to really dig into it, I guess. We had like a moment of synchronicity, I feel like. And that was pretty sick. Because I feel like all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I can like hear parts, I guess, right?
Like where it's going?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. It's like even when we played to the song that's not done yet now, I feel like there's a lot of moments where I'm like, we need dynamics, or like, what do we, I don't know. It's like I can hear melodies sometimes, I guess, from like especially with the effects. I feel like as you get into like almost like a, I don't know, like a trance or something. Like it's kind of like hear it. There's like inspiration in there or something, I guess, once you like go into a groove far enough, right? So I think it's like, I don't know. I feel like that happens quite a bit with us, actually. But that was nice to me. I think that's why I was really feeling that one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I concur.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the next part is definitely one of my favorites, because the first song that I really like achieved a certain guitar sound I was going after for a long time, but I didn't really know how to get it. And I did it with that over there, but I can't see what it is.
The Alesis?
Okay, yeah.
The
Like, what is it?
3630 compressor?
I know how to use it, but I don't know what it's called.
Excellent.
So,
Did you run this through the Behringer?
no, I actually didn't have that then.
Oh my god.
But no, I just put the compression. I think there's like an infinity setting on there.
You are talking about the rate or the ratio?
The ratio.
Yeah.
So I just
That's ratio, bro.
So, like, using this song, it's one of the ways I learned how to use compression as an effect. Because normally you use it just to sort of even out the sounds and make some things that are too quiet a little louder, things that are a little loud a little bit quieter. Instead, I was like, what happens if I turn this all the way up? And that's why the guitar is that kind of like a poppy
It does have a nice
attack,
little pop,
but then
yeah.
it sustains out. And
And you always wanted to do that?
well, I would hear other people use it, and I didn't know what they were doing, because it was the guitars weren't really loud. Because you can get sustain on a guitar if you just crank up the volume and just play it loud, because it's so loud, it just takes it a long time for the volume to kind of die down. But this is sort of different because it keeps the sound at a certain level for a long time, and it creates, I guess, unnatural transients is the best way to describe it. Like with guitar, it's like the guitar is just kind of just ringing for some reason,
Right.
But it's not loud. Like it's a clean guitar that just and
It's not harsh.
on this, I use.
At least
In fact, it's
it's
one of the
harsh,
last
I guess.
songs I think I really featured that 12 string, that Dean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't even have it out here anymore.
I know,
it's
you
like,
don't.
It's like
I
locked
used to
away in the
always be
closet.
For a time, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I get sick if we keep using the same kinds of tones, and the
Yeah,
12 string
that's-
is really distinctive. Even
makes
if you
sense.
you put it through different
Mhm.
like effects, it always sounds
has
like a
very
12
signature.
string.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I haven't used it in like maybe the last like 5 songs or something. So now for everybody's favorite part, the vocals.
She's all alone. I'm never home. Working every day. Work my life working every day, work her life away.
Okay, so that section, after re-listening to it, because it's been a while since I've actually listened to it just all on its own. That was actually that's pretty cool. I feel like I actually did a decent job. But man, really, Laura like kind of carried this whole thing vocally because those.
Well, it takes two to tango.
Well, I
It
think
takes
I
two to tango.
started the ball rolling.
Right, it takes two to
she-
tango. But she definitely is lifting
Yeah,
the
like-
heavy weights.
But
it takes
during
two to tango.
like, your, I guess, what would you call it? Like thunderous section?
Like
Like she came up with all of that, and
It's
that's
like the-
actually gives it this cool, like almost like a 1920s kind of feel to me. Or that's what, at least what I always thought, like the harmonized stuff that she's doing there.
Reminds you of, like something between 1920s and 1950s. It was like strange,
Yeah,
like a little bit like weird, like ragtime vaudeville, but then like mixed with like what's the word here?
Why is
Like
that
doo-woppy or something?
A touch
And then, like,
though of like more melancholia,
and
or,
then
like, because like,
and
this
then
whole song
obviously
is
alternative
about, like,
indie. Is that right? Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Well, I think
Like
because
that kind of vibe.
I
guess.
think the theme of the song, like this dreary, like time to work, and like like the repetition of that
Yeah.
life, or I guess all of our lives. Because the bass also, I remember the bass playing was reflecting that too. It's like kind of this monotonous, like repetitive, like ding 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 ding. Like it's like working with your drumming.
Right.
There's like a cacophony of, you could say, like the modern world is how I interpreted it, with her like kind of singing over it, because it's a very like melancholy, like
Yeah.
at least I guess when the elements came together in my head, it's like I was like, that's how I saw them all fitting together.
It's sort of, that's, I think the vocals really changed really took it to a different headspace for sure, which is kind of interesting. Because I remember like it's like super bombastic, and then what I had recorded to, right, is just like one note of a heavily affected, which like had its own like wall of sound vibe, but
Yeah.
kind of creating a whole emotional like narrative, so to speak, right, or idea of a sentiment, right?
I
being a
looked at
worker.
it, your drumming.
It's
I do
definitely a
remember.
vibe.
I think I maybe have said this to her, or maybe if I didn't, she really hit it. No, I think I did, because she I think sent me a couple of ideas, and then I think that was one of them. Like those just layered harmonies.
Yeah, just
and I remember
nice.
instantly I was like, yes, that.
Yeah,
Because for
well,
whatever reason, your drumming, even
sounds
though it
really
is not, it's more, you could almost say, tribal than jazz.
It is
It
a
reminded me.
bit
Do you remember like in
tribal.
art classes or art school, like when you'd see those early modern paintings from like the 20s? They always would tie in the jazz age with
Oh, yeah.
that. For
It's-
some
well,
reason,
there was
just
a fascination at that
kind-
time, right?
Her music, like her vocal stuff, it would make
The
my.
painters, everything.
It kind of made me think of that. and you're drumming, even though like it's not jazzy. It kind of reminded me of that sort of like the modern world.
Yeah.
Because they would say how busy those early modern paintings were.
Right.
It was kind of
Dynamism was like a whole vibe.
reflecting the jazz age.
Yeah.
I felt like her
Fast.
vocal was kind of a throwback to that.
Hmm.
So that was always like the connection I made in my.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like the most important part. Did you just say that at the end of like those literally? Unless it's like ultra sarcasm.
Okay, yeah. So
God.
okay, so what I was just saying, Josh, off mic,
This is the ultimate sarcastic. I can't tell.
Is that
is that legitimate?
he likes like ambient music more than
Yes.
me. But when you hear the keys and everything on its own, I guess I mean, it sounds like a lot of ambient music.
Yeah.
But I really don't. I like that. I like hearing that, but I wouldn't want to hear that personally all the time.
No.
But I think he actually, I don't know, he might like that more than the song
I
itself.
mean, if you're like, well, I don't know about that, but if you're like, just living life, ambient music,
You live your life ambiently.
Just, I don't know.
But no,
Not
some
even
of the,
like that. Just ambient music's banging with day-to-day life, man.
I do it more, I guess what ambient music is like. I did it for it's really more of a background, like the sky. Like say if you're outside, you're having, doing something in the outdoors, you're aware of the sky is there, and the sky is definitely part of your day. Because if the sun goes down, like, the day might be over now, but like you're probably more focused on whatever you're doing than the sky. So I look at it more like that. All those keys and layers that are kind of buried in the mix. Yeah. It's really more like the space in between
the atmosphere,
what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
So just to get in it, I think if you listen for it, especially now that you've heard it isolated, you probably can pick it out. I mean, hopefully if I mix it right, but if, even if you can't, I still feel like it's still imparting the emotional aspects to the song.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what it's supposed to do.
The atmosphere is like crucial to the entire thing. That's like unique. That sounds so different.
It's kind of a variation on a theme of what the motifs that the guitar is playing. It's probably a long way to say that, but out of all of the key parts, that's actually my favorite, and it's really one. I think everyone just hears the piano, right?
I totally did not. I've never heard that.
Like you only hear like the Riders in the Storm part.
It's kind of funny,
but I think that's actually what's saying the optimism.
Oh no,
the optimism that comes in right before the drums come in.
That's not.
I think that was like I remember intentionally doing that because it's kind of leading because the guitars at that point are sort of going. But the song isn't going full steam ahead anymore at that point. So yeah, I remember doing that. It's kind of a counterpoint to what Laura was doing.
It totally
almost
is.
like our balance.
Man, yeah, I know. It's like such a good swing actually.
But no,
it's so nice. I feel like that really emphasizes the beat.
In fact, I remember the whole reason we're actually doing this whole video. It was
just for this part.
Well, no, I was just kind of going through some of these old, I guess the old masters of it, and I'm not sure why. I didn't realize there's so many layers of synths. Oh my god! Yeah, no, it's quite a bit. But I just remember listening to individual parts. I was like, man, that's really good. Because it's been so long. I don't think of it as myself playing it. I just think parts in a song that I can hear. You're now
the outside observer.
Kind of, yeah. Because I'm actually removed far away enough from it that isn't like, oh man, I did that. It's more like
remembering the moments of creation.
That's a good musical part.
Yeah.
So no, that was definitely one of my like this really the synths overall, but that part right before the drums come back in when I start playing that. Do you remember what it was? I think it was like an electric piano on like the keyboard over here, and I had it going through chorus, one of the chorus pedals over there, and something else. It may have been that blurst pedal, which is pretty unpopular. It's kind of a copy of a Univibe. Oh no, it's right there. It's on top of the Pioneer Reverb. Yeah, that ugly thing there. So it's an Electro-Harmonix blurst. It does like a kind of like a Univibe effect, but you can really control what frequency it's on. So that whole synth is very muted. Because that kind of can almost sound like an auto wah, which usually sound crappy, but that's more of a Univibe. Well, I ran into a bunch of stuff like that to give it like a watery.
Tap divide? .8?
Yeah, you can control the tempo and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's a pretty unique
Ooh, I didn't
pedal.
realize that was select. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be the two.
They don't make them anymore. They weren't popular.
Shape of the wave.
But I
that's
got
pretty
it
cool.
right before they discontinued them. But I've used it on a couple songs. But it's pretty cool. I rarely pull it out though because it's a very distinctive effect. But I remember like just playing that part on just the piano by itself, it didn't feel right because the whole song is a lot of warbly, I guess is the only lack of a better term.
Which
Even
I did not realize.
the vocal effects, like everything here is a lot of kind of an old timey feel.
It's very liquidy
Yeah.
delay. Very like kind of reminds you.
Maybe
It
that's
does remind
better
me of
actually.
a water bed or something.
Like mercury or something.
No,
right?
it's definitely liquidy. Like that's like a wet. It's like a wet delay. So it's got like this kind of like sloshy. It's not like a ping pong or something for sure.
So I know
It's
that
kind of silly.
I really even though it's just one little element,
together
I guess
well.
for me personally, that's something I like latched onto or something.
Well, yeah, that's.
I think once you hear it, you probably can't.
I can't unhear it now. Yeah, you're not wrong because that stood out all of a sudden like in a weird way. Like, oh man,
Because
it
that's
is
interesting.
nice.
Right? And so
It's
you don't
how all that sits. There's a lot of syncopation. To be honest, in my opinion, I guess I'm like hearing like where I'm at on
rhythmic effect?
yeah, like where I'm at on the kit, or I hear like her hitting the note, or you harmonizing with it. Like everything's happening on like those downbeats, right? Where that kind of falls in between, right? So I kind of get lost in the sauce of all these layers. So it really kind of that's like nice. It's like man,
it's interesting though because
it's kind of crazy hearing that now.
I think we're
feel
so
like
programmed
it's
to
ridiculous.
listen for someone's or we could just connect with vocals so much
That
because
too.
now that you've
Yeah.
heard it, it's on I believe the right channel. There aren't drums really going yet. You're kind of just doing like some slight hi-hat work, so it's actually very
that's
clear.
true,
It's very
yeah.
audible. Like, I think everyone's just so dialed into hearing her, hearing her sing that that everything else is kind of
I'm building it
around
up at that point. Yeah, that is. I guess a lot of it
But
happens
it
during the build.
continues
Yeah,
throughout the
but
phase.
it does. Yeah,
It doesn't stop.
Yeah. I know, but that's like it's wild. I feel like it really just pushed the beat though. I feel like that's what's really nice about that is like it really sits in between everything that's happening in a nice way for sure. It builds up the melody. I don't know. It's just like really reinforces it, really strengthens it. Kind of has that nice the counterpoint, right? It's just like you can really hear like a dance going on, right?
But I think
That's nice.
I think that's it
Oh my
for
god.
drone.